Thank you so much for that, Daniel, whenever you're ready with Machiventa. And welcome, Seni and Juan.
Yes.
Hola, hola a todos. Buenos días.
Buenos dias.
Buenos días.
Good day. This is Machiventa Melchizedek, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. And I'm going to give you a lesson this morning, a lesson in thinking as a creator son, Christ Michael would think, the situation he's in with the Urantia. And I'm going to ask this one to hold up a card where you can read a quote from Christ Michael. Got it?
Yep.
Okay. This is Machiventa. Now, can you guess why Christ Michael would say such a thing? And with that question, I will lead you into his thinking, his situation, and my situation, the situation of the Most Highs. Now, you recall that Christ Michael said that in the correcting time, this world would be healed by the co-creative participation of mortals. Okay? So that's a wall. You can't go past that. This is a mandate of decision making. And once a mortal makes a decision, that decision cannot be overturned, cannot be denied, cannot be changed. It is what it is and always will be. That mortal's responsibility and that mortal's decision. So that's the second point. Now, when you realize that mortals have been invited to co-create the healing of this planet through the correcting time, you must realize that not everyone participates in that co-creative event, which can occur between yourself and a celestial angel or myself or someone else of Christ Michael's realm. So when you realize this, the most useful people, mortals, are those who will to do Christ Michael's will. And not only that, but are able to be guided, open to guidance. So when the individual says, my will is to live the will of God in my lifetime, to act out God's will in my lifetime, they are willing to do the utmost to do that. As a mission, the correcting time seeks to have more and more mortals participate. And so we have enjoined many midwayers to use their persuasive skills to assist mortals and we encourage the mortals to make right decisions that concur and are in alignment with Christ Michael's will to heal this planet. And what if mortals are resistant? And on Urantia, that is 98% of most people. Very few people have totally surrendered their will to God's will, Christ Michael's will, and understand that the opportunities that come to them will lead them in ways that help them fulfill Christ Michael's command. Now, set that aside. Keep that on a shelf, so to speak, where you can use it as a reference. Now consider the situation that Earth is in now. This planet's governments, its civilization, its economies, and the morality level of whole societies. How do we, celestials and you, get people to come over to our side? There are many ways in which we can do that. We are interested in programs that work towards those ends, where the days of light and life are engaged through social progress first, and then the days of light and life will come into being. The social progress means that mortals here on this planet must be open and receptive to change, to be willing to abandon traditional ways of doing business. And as you know, traditional ways of doing business only leads to extinction and devolution and moral depravity. As I was sitting in a meeting a few weeks ago, Earth time, with the Most Highs, we discussed all these things. And we are up against another wall. And that is that your civilization is just on the very verge of the brink. Have you heard that word, haven't you? In the Urantia book, the brink of great change. This is a time of great change on your world. And this is a time of great tragedy, cataclysms across the whole planet. And with the advent of the very real possibility of a regional nuclear war in the Middle East, you realize that when that does occur, and if you recall what happened after the pandemic came into being, businesses stopped. Many businesses went out of business. If you followed the stock market, you saw a tremendous dip in its value. You also saw a tremendous dip in the import of oil and the production of oil, which still has an effect. What I'm saying is that we are victims of the tragedies of Earth. We have a timeline, in other words, to make the greatest influence before this tragedy occurs. Because once that tragedy occurs, then the minds of millions and billions of people will be elsewhere. It will not be on assisting God or assisting Christ Michael or even their guardian angel to improve this world. Their concern will be on surviving. You have now been witness to two major violent hurricanes through Florida. Those people are now experiencing what the majority of all the world's civilization and humanity will experience in the next 2 or 3 to 5 years. So you see, if you're a creator's son and you want to make the biggest impact on the planet before the cataclysms occur, and then the interim period of anywhere from 300 to 500 years of dark ages, so to speak, until there can be another advance in the evolution of humanity's civilization, you realize that now is a time where the hammer must strike the iron on the anvil. That this is a time when spirit must come to center and to focus. And so we, of the 37 planets, planetary managers, and the Most Highs, have asked Christ Michael, what can we do? And he said, do whatever it takes to change the minds of the majority of people to come to center with us, to be willing to acknowledge that the world has changed for them. Now here you're going to have to use your imagination, simply because your own personal traditional way of thinking, your social thinking that you use, these members here in front of your cameras are using today. You must think way out of the box. You are concerned about programs that are needed. We are here to tell you, I'm here to tell you, that as far as the limitations that we have to what we can do, money is the least of our concerns. We can bring money into being as quickly as tomorrow's sunrise, if we want to. But it has to have a direct purpose. It must have a significance that brings about a change of attitudes and visions of mortals on this planet, worldwide. This advent of this occasion now engages the internet. You and we now have electronic world communication. Of course, we have had world communication for millennia, for hundreds of thousands of years on this planet, but mortals have not. And many mortals are not in touch with our communications. So we are going to we have been relying on the internet to send our message forward around the world. Many of you have been thinking of Monjornson to come and help save this world. Well, my friends, this is not Monjornson's time. He will be here later when things on this warlike planet have settled, so that his programs are far more effective. You may also concern yourselves about some spiritual being. When is the last time you have seen a global avatar, a mortal, who has come to the presence and mindedness of the citizens of this planet? I'm sure the only one you can think of immediately is Christ Michael as Jesus. And that would be true. Yes, there have been many avatars who have come and gone on this planet to bring the message through according to the religions that they've had and established. We do not oppose those religions if they're religions of God. And those religions that are not of God, we don't oppose them either. They simply exist. You see, Christ Michael is not in combat with anyone. This is an engagement of peace. Christ Michael only helps those who are peaceful, purposely and diligently peaceful, to assist him. And so our programs and planetary management programs of the Correcting Time, Teaching Mission, and the various other programs are here to assist individuals. We have been at this about 30, 35 years with nil results. And if you look at the distribution and sales of the Urantia book, you see that as a percentage of population across the world, it has decreased. Yet its truths are enduring and will last forever, and will always be a revelation for new readers and new and old readers who read again. So how would you go about awakening many people? And I leave you with that thought, that question, because we're here to do whatever it takes. And we are here to engage you to join us in doing that. Now, you as figurative creator sons are in this situation. What would you do? Thank you. If you have questions concerning this message and this lesson, please bring them forward. I'll be glad to answer them as best I can.
Thank you so much, Machiventa. Thank you, Daniel. If you have a question, please just raise your hand. Comment or concern. Jacques, please.
Bonjour, Machiventa.
Bonjour.
How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. And as I told Stefan in Calgary, Canada, one day, I said, I'm fine. I have washed my face and combed my hair, and I'm ready for you. And so I'm here again today in the same presence. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a big message today, which hurt, which of course is a strong concern for us. And you said, how can you awaken people around you? As you know, in the past, we have tried to contact those we thought was the most concerned at the beginning because they were aware of the Urantia book. It was the Urantia book reader, all this team of reader. But up to now, they reject a little bit the teaching mission and all the message. I myself have contacted them many times, and last time it was about 6 months ago, and it was hard. So can we rely on the Most High, the midwayer, the Spirit, to push them so that this, because there are a number of people who know the Urantia and they know Christ Michael. So this, in my view, could be a good force behind us. I am correct in this thinking?
Repeat that, Colonel, of wisdom there, please.
I say, am I correct
About
to think?
asking the Most Highs and Midwayers to intercede.
Oh, this is Machiventa. Yes, they are doing so even now. We are not asking you to respond to this question on a personal or locally social basis, as you suggest. If you were Christ Michael, who has given authority to myself and the Most Highs, what tactic would you use to awaken the world? Then, once people awaken, then the midwayers and the angels and personal teachers and guardian angels can be of tremendous assistance to help the individual formulate ideas about what is occurring and how they can participate. This question requires you to think as a planetary manager. Remember, I have great authority in the management of this planet, but it requires the thought adjusters to do more. What do you think the thought adjusters, what do you think the thought adjusters would do to help awaken the planet? Can you think of one example?
In my view, the thought adjuster have the ability, because they are the closest entity within a person, to direct the thought of this person toward, let's say, the good article on internet, speaking about celestial contact, for example.
You are correct, Jacques. That celestial contact is a real part of what will occur. Can you expand on that, please? And anyone else?
I would like to offer
No.
something. Jacques, do you have another comment first before I go?
It's an experience I had this morning. I was, promoting the book of Donna Dingillo called The 12 Women Who Loved Jesus, the 12 Apostle Women. And since 1 year now, I try to contact the, Christian community to meet nuns to see how they react. And by chance or not chance or by guidance this morning, I met 2 nuns while I was in the market, and I did get a contact with one with an email, so that she told me, if you want, send me the story of one woman. We will see what we can do. So I interpret this as opportunity to go there.
Thank you. This
Thanks.
too was arranged, you know. And so this is an opportunity that came to you. And you had enough awareness to take advantage of it. That is being a very helpful mortal in our co-creative process. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that example of a divine encounter, a divinely inspired encounter, we could definitely pray over all of ourselves and request that we have consistent divine encounters in order to spark the imagination of the people that the midwayers and Most Highs are trying to reach, those enlightened people. So I am open to more divine encounters myself. So I would say that that is one aspect. The other thing I was going to suggest is just tragedy is difficult, but it disrupts the status quo. It disrupts the way that people ordinarily do business. But disruptions to the status quo were in these tragedies, an overwhelming flow of kindness between people may be another way, to trigger people becoming more introspective about life after life is one suggestion, interrupting how people do their everyday business, and then the thought adjusters be overwhelming people with kindness one towards the other.
Thank you. Those are excellent ideas. I'm not going to pursue this further with you now, but I'm going to leave it with you. And I'll leave it with you. And I ask that you ask your celestial guardian, your thought adjuster, and the midwares to give you inklings where you can surmise, develop a question of surmise about what I'm talking about. And we will leave that for next week. Any other comments from anyone?
Martha, you're muted.
Thank you, Machiventa. I just wondered if you could give us one clue, according to the Celestials, what have been the most significant spiritual mortal awareness raising events in the history of humankind? Because I would imagine that the presence of yourself, of Christ Michael, of people who have become godlike, like Buddha and Muhammad are examples of that. But are there any other events in the history of humankind where what you're asking us to make happen has happened?
Do you recall, both from biblical records and from the Urantia book, where the woman followed Jesus in the marketplace and touched his hem, the hem of his coat, and he became aware of that, and they had a conversation, and she was healed. Was that significant?
Yes,
There you are.
by
And there have
faith. Thank
been
you.
many other instances as that through the history to the present time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Steffen, go ahead. You're muted.
Machiventa, I see the world right now affected by both weather catastrophes, natural catastrophes, disasters, and so on and so forth. And that's putting people at the effect of them. And as Kona was saying, in some cases, that brings out the good in people. It empowers or it enables or it motivates them to help each other and bring things down to a simpler level and to develop love of each other, understanding of each other, and so on. And so in many ways, I can see how that can be a good thing. On the other hand, we have so many people right now who are affected by, and we talked about this last time, I'll call them predators, the people who sell arms. By the way, the stock market, if you've invested in companies that sell arms, well, you'll be happy to know that your stock has gone up about 30% this year since October 7th. Isn't that wonderful? But those people are enabling this mechanism to become a perpetual machine. And there's very few people who are making these decisions that maintain this warring effect, but they're putting tremendous numbers of people at the effect of it. And I'm not sure that we get the same benefit. I don't see that we do, that we would get from, say, the catastrophes where people are working together and helping together. Instead, they're putting them into hopelessness and survival mode. And so to bring this around full circle, you were talking about what can the thought adjusters do? What should we ask for? It seems to me that there are very few people who are at the top level making these decisions, whether they be governmental officials in any of each one of these countries, considered to be a legitimate countries or terrorists or people who sell arms or whatever. What can we do to remove that factor from our society so that we're not putting so many people into distress?
Well, Steffen, you have read many transcripts and you're new to this venue. And you may recall what the wisdom I have given to this group about reaching to the top to change decision-making at that level. And that it is a fruitless task. And what you are suggesting, perhaps, is that it would be even more violent and cause more distress in a society to have a revolution to remove those people, to assassinate those people by violence would not be a benefit to your whole society, but quite the opposite. No, I am always speaking about the change of the mind of the individual. When I gave this team example of the young man who was mountain climbing by himself in the Rocky Mountains, and he reached up to a handhold to pull himself up when a rock of immense weight shifted onto his hand, and he was trapped there until after a few days he was desperate enough to cut his hand off. Now, do you think he prayed for solutions in that situation? What happens that is beneficial, that is not caused by Christ Michael or any one of us, are the tragedies of life occur to people in times when they need help that is not available. For instance, this morning, yesterday and today, there is an elevator in an old mine shaft in Colorado with 12 people trapped inside at 500 feet below the surface. Do you think they have turned to prayer? Some of them have, and some will not. Some will just be sitting in the corner cursing their bad luck for taking the elevator to the tour to visit a gold mine. The only positive aspect of these tragedies is that people in situations where they are helpless, they finally turn to the last hope that they have in their lives, and that of turning to God, to ask for help from the celestials, from the angels, and if they believe in the God presence within them, they pray and ask for assistance from their thought adjuster. This effort of ours at the correcting time is not aimed for the pinnacles of power and economies in society. They're aimed for the masses of humanity who live in the streets in Bangkok and live in Calcutta and Beijing and Los Angeles. So these people are the ones who will change the future. These ones who turn to prayer are our hope in them, that they will assist us in this work. Whether it's directly or indirectly, it is our hope and our encouragement and belief and our trust in individuals at the mortal level who will assist us in this work. You are here today. This group is having an experience that you know, that we can know that you are viable to assist us. This is a knowing of you because we are experiencing you engaging with us, unseen individuals, as is God within you is unseen. When you go through the hope continuum of hope, faith, belief, trust, those are all mental activities. Only experience can lead you to trust. And so we are having the experience of trusting you to assist us. It is our message to engage as many people in this experience as possible so that we can trust them and know that they will assist us. And for that, my friends, I thank you. Thank you.
And I thank you. And please know that I'm not suggesting that we do a violent revolution or anything. We already have enough of that going on. And as you said, that just leads to more of it. My question is more along the lines of how do we assemble ourselves in a spiritual force that is powerful enough to overwhelm in a very peaceful, in a very spiritual way, these minority, really, of decision makers who are, well, leading us into war and problems. And it's bad enough that we have the geological catastrophes and so on, but we don't need to add to it. So what attitude should we take toward them?
Thank you. You changed your how question to a what question. What attitudes must we have? We, meaning us and you, must have the attitude that all things are possible, that these are not impossible things. As you may have surmised in the quietness of your mind, you may surmise that many people will be lost. What we are looking for is a remnant, a faithful, trusting remnant of people who know what they need to do to assist us. And then first of all is to keep the faith and continue doing the what. The what is the attitude, the what is sharing your joy with the rest of the world, the what is being kind, the what is teaching children that there's more to life than the next Nintendo or Xbox, and that there's more to life than smoking pot and getting high on weekends. Children need to know this story because soon, my friends, many of you will be gone. And so these children become the active living remnant. And how you live in your life, in your society, in your home, in your family, you are the instructors for the next generation. The what comes down to being expressions of Christ Michael's kindness as Jesus. Not preaching, not any of those evangelical activities, but simply living the faith, living the truth, living the knowing, and being example to children and sharing your wisdom. Children who are 7 and 8 are not too young to learn this wisdom. Prior to that, they learn by the modeling of their parents, by the conversations they hear with adult friends, and so on. When you share your wisdom of life and living that is in concert with Christ Michael's mandates, you are a good example. The most important what thing that you can do is to live the faith. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Machiventa.
Thank you, Machiventa. for a minor recap, what I'm hearing you say is that we live what we believe, and boldly so, and communicate that to as many people and children as possible in order to restore the faith in the people around us, and then create that ripple effect into our communities. Is that a
You're correct. You have to imagine in real terms that spirit is going to do something to assist this awakening. That's when you can leap into action and to assist others who are sitting on the fence. Those who are committed to their religion, God-centered religion, will interpret these things according to their religion. We have no problem with that. You will be a voice, our voice. You are the remnant who will be active, and you will be able to interpret what is occurring in positive terms that will assist the world to change. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Any other questions or comments for Machiventa? Martha, go ahead.
Thank you. Machiventa, I was just wondering if what the event you just described, if that is the same as what Chris Morris refers to as the day of equilibrium.
That's this is Daniel. That's not part of my database.
Thanks.
Seni, I see your hand. Go ahead. Thank you.
Hi, Machiventa. I have a question for you. It's
Slowly.
in two parts. The first one, what message do you have for me as part of the team? And second, what do you see in me in this mission?
Dear Seni, you are truly a son of God, and you are much beloved by us and by the guardians who are with you. You know, as well as we, that you are being guided, and you have been given an opportunity at a time when your life is seeking an opportunity. If you should reject this opportunity and ask for a better one, you won't be assured that it will be there. You see, this is a matter of faith, that you trust and know from your own experience that this is an opportunity that will take hold of your life and guide you. Do not be afraid of what will occur. When you accept, unknown to you, you are accepting all the largesse that will follow from your decision. You may ask, how is it that I can take advantage of this opportunity? There will be so many difficulties. Don't worry about that, my friend. This one and his family has had the experience as well. If you're willing to leap, then you'll know that there is a bridge for you and that there is a safe landing on the other side. I used some time ago an example of an adventure movie where the hero of the movie was on one side of a deep chasm, hundreds of feet deep, and that he had to get to the other side to be of assistance to save people and to receive the message that was there. He had read and heard that there was a bridge that could not be seen but existed for him to cross over. So he gathered up some dust and rocks and pebbles and he threw it into the void. And what happened was that the dust and the pebbles revealed an invisible bridge. So with his faith, he walked upon that invisible bridge, crossed to the other side, and accomplished what he needed to do. Your faith is the bridge. Your experience in your life, it tells you that this bridge is real and that all is well and that you will be taken care of. But only that will occur after you make the decision and commitment to engage that opportunity. Do you hear me?
Yes, Machiventa.
Be at peace with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Machiventa.
Bob?
Bob,
Yes.
you're there. Go ahead.
Okay. I read Steffen's revision of Daniel's article, and I found it very easy reading, and I feel that it could help a lot of people that aren't technically aware of the Urantia book and many of its aspects. And so I was wondering, Machiventa, if such things as revising some of the works of Daniel's from someone's point of view of making it easier to understand for more people, so more people can be reached, is that a good idea?
It has already been done, Robert. We have urged this one to contact Steffen and for him to proceed with this very large book that he recently published with Avlon Melchizedek. And so we have begun the process as you have requested. There must be an original work, which can always be referred to if someone who reads the artificial intelligence transformed document needs more information. But for the masses of individuals who need to know how to revise and how to create the new era of their civilization, the AI interpretations would be very adequate for that, and we fully support that. Thank you for asking. Thank you for thinking in alignment with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I have one other question. For young people, I know that young people need to have a role model for spiritual things, like for myself and the young people in my household. But breaking the ice is not easy, and I've had some direction on this, but is there something that I can do on a daily basis that could help me better break the ice with these young people so they can have communication on celestial things?
Well, this is Machiventa. Thank you for your delightful question. We have found through the influence of many excellent teachers and parents that you turn the tables on this situation. Rather than telling the child what you believe, you ask them what they believe. You ask them what they need to believe to be successful. And then you ask them, what are your definitions for successful? And what does it take for you? What will it take for you to be successful in those terms? And they will answer you, or they may be puzzled. And the first of all, you'd say, well, child, it takes self-confidence. If you don't have confidence in yourself to accomplish that, then you need to become self-confident. How would you do that? And so you continue to use the Socratic method of instilling wisdom in your little audience, in your childlike audience. And so you must be artful in the form of this dialogue as well. And so you can learn how to do this. You begin by simply practicing. I hope this helps.
It does. I'll have to practice on that because that's a skill I haven't developed very well.
And then you must ask for assistance in this as well. There are perhaps many adolescent and pre-adolescent counselors and advisors who can assist you to do this. There is probably some low cost or free parental advice from your local municipality or county or in that level of organization who could be of assistance of you. So it is now time for you to educate yourself so that you can educate your children in your household. Thank you.
Thank you, Machiventa. That was very good.
Thanks, Bob, for your question. Any other questions for Machiventa this morning? From anyone? Last minute thoughts? Machiventa, do you have final thoughts for us?
Yes. I would ask a very important aspect of this situation of you is where mortals have gone in default in their relationship with spirit is to develop unreasonable expectations for performance expectations. I would advise that you move away from performance expectations of us, of spirit, and rather have anticipations of what to expect, what to look forward to. It is one thing to anticipate, it's quite another to expect. Anticipation is what we live in as well. We anticipate that Christ Michael's plans will be successful. And we know that we have been empowered to do this. And from Christ Michael's statements, whatever it takes, is sufficient for us to move ahead courageously, boldly, to influence the minds of mortals. If you would move into anticipation, then you become curious. And when you're curious, you begin to ask questions. And when you ask questions, you begin to learn. And so you can move into your faith, your spiritual living faith as quite an adventure when you move from expectations to anticipation. Thank you and good day.
Thank you so much, Machiventa. Thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Machiventa. Thank you, Daniel.
I've become aware that this is Daniel. I've become aware that there is now occurring an upliftment for all of you, all of the team and the people who read and watch these videos, read the transcripts, and that you, as the remnant, have a tremendous opportunity to be of immense service. And you can anticipate that this upliftment you receive and are receiving will assist you to become more effective. I'm not sure what that translates into, but you will become more effective. I know it is occurring in myself too, and it is quite invisible. It's not like you wake up one day and fly across the room. The humor of mortals for magical thinking is immense. Yet it is a springboard for imagining helpful developments in our lives. And so to put it bluntly, you're special. And Spirit regards that highly. And you have made commitments far beyond the vast majority of people in your society. And that you're not forgotten. You do have work to do, and that will become more and more defined in time and knowable to you in time. So that you can consciously engage the work that you have been requested to do. It's very much like the message that Seni received today, that he is already aware of an opportunity and that it is his choice to take advantage of it or not. It may not be easy. It may not be exactly what he expects, but I'm here to tell you from the opportunities I've received in the past, it opens the door to much more work, expanded work, opportunity of service in ways that I hadn't imagined, truly. And that answers come. I have a gift coming to me. I have received the offering of you have to realize that I operate with a ancient iPhone 6. It'll be 10 years old this coming January.
You sure it's not a flip phone?
Oh, sometimes I give up this phone for my old flip phone. And so, unbeknownst to myself, that another opportunity is coming to me, that will require the ability of this new phone to link with my all of my work, my written work, and that this library of mine, I call it a library, will go with me, and if someone requests it, I can download it to them wherever I am. Well, hallelujah. I can't do that with this phone. I tried to link it today. There's no button for link. So this opportunity that will come to me is going to require that device. And so it has come to me spontaneously, unexpectedly, at a time of greatest need, and to empower a greater opportunity that comes into my life. So thank you, God. So it's we just it's like kind of time to buckle up and and put the pedal to the metal. Anyhow, God bless everybody. I love you so much, and it's good to see new faces here and old faithful friends who continue to show up. All right.
Great to be with you.
And we'll do this again next week. I look forward to it every week. This has given me, this is much like the old, what were the acronyms that we used? The no-code meetings and PMG and all those.
NET.
It's very similar to that. We have a renewed reunion here, and this is where I'm able to help Machiventa most. And as you know, we all went through a rough patch of when I left, and the meeting with, gosh, that'll be what, 2 years this coming January?
Yes.
2 years.
No,
Yeah.
it will be about 1 year. Is it 2 years or
It's 2 years.
Well,
it's 2
there
years?
was a separation that occurred in 2 years ago, this coming January, and a year, and this most immediate last January. So Spirit knew what it wanted, and I had to be out of the way. So anyhow, let's see what next week reveals. The adventure continues. Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye,
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Take care.
Blessings.
Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Wow. Once again, we have a thought-provoking message. So let's take a little bit of time to sit with that, reflect, and have dialogue. Martha.
Thank you. I was just, while we were in the middle of the meeting, my first thought was make a film. And I was about to ask Machiventa if they would make the money for making a film. But so in any case, that was my thought. That's still my thought.
One of the things I'm reflecting on is, I've known that I've been called as a part of the remnant for like 30 years. But this is the first time it's been addressed publicly to my face. I mean, I've had that calling. Y2K was like precursor to, well, what do you do? But to be called part of the remnant from somebody who speaks on behalf of Celestials is extremely significant. I mean, I've kind of mentioned these things before, being with my son, etc. But, for him to actually say, you are the remnant. And I think of each of us on different continents and different countries, and the leadership trust that has been given to each of you as well as myself, where you are. We have a huge responsibility to live authentically with this message and to reach out to the people in our sphere of influence. That's what impacts me the most is 3 to 5 years from now, we might be here, we might not be here, depending on, how the world goes. But between now and then or after that, we may be that very connection to spirit that people are whoever's left may or may not have that. We may be that one person that can say, by the way, there are celestials on the other side, and you're going to be okay. It's my first thoughts.
I think every week you can find people. Last Sunday, I met a young woman and she had a conversation. I was listening, then I jumped to her and we discussed, because she was discussing the end of life for some person. She said for some person are not living an effective life. They have no experience anymore. So I say, yeah. So how do you do that? And then we speak. And when we exchange, and then she asked me, she said, I've read a book about life after life. Say, me too. So we share. And that's ongoing. And this morning it was nice to meet these nuns, because the funny thing is I was in the market, but buying, material. It was, it was not food, but material to build. It was strange to see this woman. So I saw one, and I said, "Whoops, that's my opportunity." So I was going to there, waiting. She came to me, and then she took a phone. I said, "Wow!" So I have to wait and follow her. And then I discovered there is a second one. And the second one was a boss. The first one was not, she was listening. So then we discussed it. It lasted just 2 minutes, and then we exchanged the email. And then, so I right away think that's the opportunity I was waiting for so long. Because the priest, the bishop, nobody was able to help. Voilà. So it's an experience. We will see the rest, the follow-up.
Good for you, Jacques,
Yeah.
for recognizing that opportunity.
Absolutely.
The times in my life that I've actually sincerely, spontaneously asked spirit, like asked God or whatever, what have you, I think of them all as one, to help me do their will or its will, whatever. I find in those moments, that's where I get opportunities, when I sincerely, spontaneously ask. But it's, I always, it's hard to remember though, to ask
Mhm.
for me. I'm always forgetting that, oh yeah, I can ask. So good for you,
Sounds
Jacques. That's great.
sounds like we need to be doing a lot more asking. And then like in my case here in America, the big dread for many people is when the Jehovah's Witnesses knock on the door. You know, you ask for a divine appointment and then somebody knocks on your door that you don't want to talk to, and you're like, oh, but I asked. I
Hey,
asked for a
maybe it's your opportunity to talk to them.
That's right.
well, typically that's what I'm saying. You know, it is
Yeah.
my opportunity. And usually when I say, sure, come on in, you know, we talk, and then as soon as I start talking about things that they're not interested in, then they leave.
Yes, it's the same for me. Each time I speak with them, they say, no, no, we have to leave, which is very rare. Oh, they say, no, no, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just, it seems, you know, we all of a sudden are getting these critical messages, which I don't doubt to the validity of that we're in a very critical time. But the only thing I can think is that we're going to have to be more diligent about sharing and being authentic and, you know, just living what we believe. I'm
Yeah.
curious what you guys think.
I try to do that at work. Oh, am I muted? Oh,
No, you're not. You're fine.
sorry. I try to do that at work. I mean, I'm a scientist, I'm a physician, right? And so, but there are a lot of people, even at my workplace, that are religious or Catholic, and many of them have some belief in an afterlife or spiritual type of belief. So sometimes it depends on who it is, but I kind of seek out people that I can have like conversations with if you know it arises, right? So I have actually managed to talk to a few people at work about this, and I'm just kind of always surprised that there are actually more people out there that will engage in this kind of conversation if you try to engage
Mhm.
them, or if you find that little opening. And then I discover, oh, you know, I'm not the only one who has kind of these beliefs. It's just something that people don't always feel comfortable talking about, because people are always one conversation I actually had with a colleague of mine, a new one actually. He's just starting out his career, and just we talked for like 2 hours about spirit out of nowhere. And you know what,
Wow.
I would never have actually, I don't know how it started, but I sensed, I have this sense sometimes that I need to talk to certain people about certain things. So I don't know. I mean, and I was kind of surprised how, you know, he knew about Eckhart Tolle. Like he had all these, you know, it was just very interesting. And it's like, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't like thought about talking about it with him. So
Mhm. That's
so in
great.
other
That's
words, you
awesome.
just kind of like you just have to like not care what people think about you. Like, you know, what he said to me was, you know, if I talk during our conversation, he says, yeah, this is not something we normally talk with everyone, right? And I have to agree, because many, you know, there are people who will think that you're a little bit nutso, you know, but
Mhm.
I think all of us have probably reached that point of our lives where we don't care about that. And I've reached that part. I don't care what people, you can think what you want of me, and you know, and I'm not afraid anymore. So
And that's huge. Fear is huge. Overcoming the
Mhm.
fear of being public about a very personal thing.
Mhm.
You know, we tend to be, I will say we with Western mind in to some degree, and you can speak for yourself if you don't believe this, but we tend to be very individualistic in our spiritual or religious belief system. And where there are communities that are more communal in that and more sharing, I'd be curious if any of you have the experience of a communal worship group where you feel comfortable like walking down the street and having a conversation about spirit with somebody in your neighborhood or somebody in your culture group. Is there anybody here who has that? Yeah, it's a
Like-
challenge.
Culture group or like friends or just any
Friends,
group?
depending on where you live. I mean, Jacques has said before, it's very much a challenge for him where he lives in France. Juan has got difficult circumstances in Venezuela.
Mhm.
I know I'm a stay-at-home grandma right now, so I don't have a lot. I'm not out, except with you guys on the internet. And I'm in a new place. I don't have a social group where I live at all. I don't have a church family that I used to have. I have my family. So, for me to go out and have a conversation with somebody that I run into in the apartment complex or in the grocery store, what I look for and what I'm going to do, I'll do this week because I did go to the grocery store this morning, is I look for those opportunities. Well, Spirit will just give me the nudge. For me, it's driving down the street, seeing somebody asking for money on the side of the road. And every now and then it's just like, stop the car and talk to them. So I stop the car and talk to them, or, they're in the intersection and I roll down the window. How you doing today? It's just having those, moment conversations. But I didn't always used to be able to do that. I'm a trained extrovert. I'm an introvert by nature, and to be extroverted and talk to strangers really took a lot of me coming out of my shell. I'll share two ways that happened. I was very quiet growing up, very, very introverted. And then there was a lady that used to keep my kids, and I worked with her in keeping children. And she'd walk through the grocery store. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? She'd talk to the cashier. He would talk to everybody. And I was 28 years old, and I'm like, I can do that. I can talk to people like that. And I made a decision for myself that I was going to just be more gregarious, be more friendly. You can't talk to people if you're not friendly. And then the second is my theater training in college that I did for fun because I loved theater. And I found that that I had a knack for theater, and it gave me a voice. It gave me the ability to speak in front of people and to hear myself, or to be in a play or some sort of a production, gave me confidence in my ability to be with people or be in front of people. And then after that, I became an educator. And so being in front of a classroom and things, that really helped. But I had to make a decision to open my mouth to talk to people. And it didn't happen until I was in my late 20s. Steffen.
Yeah, I find it really easy to start conversations with people. And there's a number of different ways that I do it, but the one that works always is to notice something about them that they're likely to be proud of, and then ask them about it. It's like, Martha, I noticed you've got that necklace that you're wearing. I'm wondering, would you mind if I asked you where you got that?
And the answer is India.
Been to
It's actually
India?
a religious thing from India, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, did you go to India to get it, or now
I did.
were you on some kind of were you a tourist, or were you on a spiritual quest or something?
No, I went with 9 other people to take the ashes of a previous partner of mine to the Ganges River.
Oh, now why did they want to go to the Ganges River?
Because prior to their death, they had some spiritual experiences in India. But you see now, so
I'll tell you, I've always been interested in people's spiritual experiences. It's kind of interesting. Now, did you share that same philosophy with them, or
not at all. No.
you have some other
No,
spiritual?
and it's not somebody I'd seen in 20 years.
Okay.
So,
well, you wear it though. Are you a
no,
spiritual?
I wore it today. I took it off. I don't know why. I took it off. I haven't worn it since I came back from India in 2022. I just took it out this morning.
Does it have any spiritual significance to you?
I don't know. It just reminded me. It's I guess it's Hindu. I guess it's like a prayer bead.
Mhm.
I guess
Okay.
I'm not Catholic either, but I imagine it's a meditation bead.
You can see how effective this technique is.
Yes.
And it's very easy to do. I mean, you know, you got some guy that Caitlin and I were out on our Harley the other day, and we stopped at a place to eat, and some guy pulled up in a brand new shiny red Corvette. Now, do you think he's proud of it? So it's like, oh, I like your car. Made a friend. Guy's name is Bill. His wife's name is Irene. You know, we found out all kinds of things about each other. We had conversations and so on. But if you can find something that someone's a necklace, an earring, any things like that, a shirt with a logo on it, that they've been to a certain place, it's a location. You ask them, have you been to Seattle? Or the guy's got a dive thing or Harley hat or whatever. It's just pay attention to what other people are wearing or doing or whatever, and ask them about it. And you can start the conversation. And then oftentimes you can find out if they're open to expanding that conversation. Something to work with.
No, I agree with you. It's quite easy. I do the same. I always looked at opportunity to meet people. I don't do exactly as you do. I mean, I don't look really at the car because I don't care about cars. So I will never say that's a beautiful.
Jacques,
That's a
neither do
beautiful.
But
I often what said people in front of me if they speak about their problem or this kind of thing, you know. Then I jump if I can. Then I jump, and after, as you said, it's quite easy to discuss with people.
But that's the
Sure.
important thing. I think it's important to understand that you don't have to care about it. You know they do, and you're using it as a conversation starter.
Yeah, sure.
That's the important. It's like Martha. I don't wear that necklace, but I like it. It's nice, and it looks great on you. And I'm wondering where.
But it's definitely a conversation starter.
And Seni, how come you're always wearing that orange coat? You must like that.
Sweatshirt,
Yes,
yeah.
Sweatshirt, okay.
Orange,
it looks great on you. But I wonder if there's some significance. And so, I mean, and honestly, these are things I'm genuinely curious about in most cases. So if you find something that you genuinely like about someone, and then you start the conversation, if they're proud of it, they'll talk to you, and you can take it from there.
Good advice.
Martha?
I would just like to thank Juan. Juan, thank you so much for your excellent transcripts, the incredible work you've put in, and also Jacques. I just wanted to thank you for that because you've been very quiet today, but you've been very busy during the last few weeks. Muchas gracias, señor.
You're muted, my friend.
Ok. Muchísimas gracias, Marta, por esas bellas palabras. Siempre eres muy considerada. Gracias por todo. Por mi parte, trato de hacer el trabajo que puedo hacer lo mejor que pueda. Y siempre estoy dispuesto a hacer algo que nos ayude a avanzar. Gracias a todos. Los llevo en mi corazón.
Because Martha, you are speaking about the transcript, just to let you know, I started all the review of all I have. I'm making an Excel file. I will complete it. And I noticed that I have few transcript missing. And sometime I have also the recording missing. So I will coordinate with Juan. Both we will check what we have because I'm sure together between me and Juan, we should have the maximum of item recorded somewhere in our PCs. Then we will make the point with you. But there are so many recording in the, and I think when Daniel stopped, we had the C tag, new C tag at that time. And it was in July 2000, 3. Just before.
2023?
2022?
22.
CTAG, okay.
Because
was
we
in July.
started Mission Urantia in October
Yeah.
last
Of
year.
23.
Yeah.
Juan, you had a comment? I'm sorry.
Sí, estos días he estado trabajando con el canal de YouTube y lo he actualizado y todos ya tienen descripción, tienen su portada y de verdad que revisando todo el material, de verdad que hay un bagaje de información muy importante en todas esos videos. Yo estoy utilizando ahorita Gemini para los diálogos y para sacar un resumen de cada transcripción, de cada reunión. Para ello utilizo cualquier archivo que esté registrado en cada reunión y lo someto a la inteligencia artificial de Gemini y me da buenos resultados. Hay muchas, no tengo todas las transcripciones organizadas. Sí querría saber si alguno de ustedes tienen todas esas transcripciones ya organizadas, a ver si me las facilita para ir haciendo un archivo para la traducción al español, para tener consecutivamente español e inglés y así mejorar la lectura para los hispanohablantes. Como les digo, no tengo todas las transcripciones. Tengo los archivos originales, pero sin depurar. Y necesito las transcripciones ya que son definitivas para proceder a traducirlas, si eso es posible. Gracias.
Thank you, Juan.
Thank you, Juan. I have 2 questions, Jacques.
Yes,
Can you give me
yes.
1 second?
Yes.
Juan, we were looking at the YouTube on Tuesday. Are all of those published in public?
Sí, todos
Okay.
están publicados.
The second question I have is, are you using hashtags or SEO? Are you using the tags so that people can do searches? Have you created tags for each of those? Do you know what I'm talking? Do you know what I'm talking? Oh,
Almost says
you were
that
frozen.
you say tags.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Oh,
Yeah,
hashtags.
that helps
Okay,
the
yeah.
search engine.
Keywords
Keywords, yeah.
Keywords that help the search engine. So remember with Juan, because it's translating, one of us speaks at a time, otherwise it doesn't translate properly. Okay, so what we're looking for is the hashtags or the keywords that go along with videos that make them searchable. Have you been putting those in there with those videos?
Como te dije antes, sí, ya las he colocado en muchos videos, pero hace falta actualizar otros más. Todavía faltan muchos. Y yo los hashtags los extraigo de las transcripciones.
Okay, so it may be possible to create a set of key terms and cut and paste them from one video to the other. I've done that before. So if you take one video and it's, you know, all of those search terms, this is one thing, like Machiventa is asking, what can we do? We can make those videos more searchable by making sure that we have the keywords attached to each one. Now, Steffen, you are much more familiar with this than I am. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous, but you might give Juan some information on key terms that would be good to attach to Daniel's videos that he can put in there. that would make them very searchable. So that's part of that. And then the second thing is that we looked at, there's one video that was viewed 166 times. By putting in these keywords and making them more searchable, our analytics should go up. People should be able to view these more, but we also may want to look at this as the opportunity to do those quick 2-minute cuts to make, you know, like this is a mini piece, this is a mini intro of this particular thing, and put those out in other places in social media. Any other thoughts about that, Steffen?
Yeah, what would be most effective is to isolate the videos in sections, whatever the topic is. So if he's talking about topic A, it stays in one place, even if it's in the same transcript, but it's topic B, it would go into a different video. And I'll take a look at the videos and see what kind of meta tags and descriptions they have and so on and so forth. That's what you're really talking about, so that they become more findable in the search engine.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Jacques, sorry. Thank you for
No,
allowing me to
it,
interrupt.
it was
By the way, Juan, can you send me the link to just send me, Juan, you have my email address. So send me the link where I can go to and then access all of the rest of the videos, and then I'll take a look at them. Okay.
Do you want the login information so you can see analytics, or do you just want to
No.
go to the link? Okay.
No, I'll just take a look at them. I don't think I need to look at the analytics right now. I'll just look to see what they're set up as.
And I would also suggest taking a look at the name that is used on that YouTube channel and see if there's something that's more searchable.
The title tag of anything, any website, any video, anything is the most important thing. I published last month we published in my publication, we published video optimization information, and there's a whole, Google just recently published another video where they talk about all the different ways to optimize video. So I'll pass that on.
Maybe send that to Juan. Yeah. Perfect. Somebody else had another question. Juan, you had a comment?
Quería pedirle a Marta que me tradujera de lo mejor posible lo que dijo Steffen, para estar seguro de lo que él me dijo, porque no
Sí,
lo capté completo.
Perfecto. El primero dijo que si tú por favor lo puedes mandarle a él la liga para que él pueda entrar a Mission Urantia Outreach. También que el nombre que tiene es increíblemente importante, entonces hay que hablar sobre este después. Y en la revista que él publica, ellos acaban de publicar algo sobre video optimization, la optimización de los videos, entonces él te va a poder mandar este artículo. Gracias.
I'm going to ask. Go ahead. I was just going to ask another question, but go ahead.
Ok, Steffen, como tú sabes, ese canal es totalmente del grupo de los viernes, ¿verdad? O sea, es de todos nosotros y de los que vengan después de nosotros. Por lo tanto, yo a cada uno les proveí de las claves para que pudieran entrar y modificar. De todas maneras, yo te la voy a enviar personalmente, ¿ok? Pero sí quería que supieras que eso, ya todos los miembros del grupo tienen la liga y tienen el password para eso. ¿Ok? Gracias.
The link and the password.
I knew we had it, but I don't remember where it is. I think it's buried in my email.
Martha, could you make sure I understood clearly what he said?
No, he was just saying that what is on that video is only the Fridays team videos, and that he's already sent to every member of the team the password and the link to be able to enter.
I see. So then the videos are set to private?
No, they're
it's
not
public.
set to private.
They
It's
are
public.
Then why do we need a password and a password.
I think to see the analytics, Kona said.
To edit, right, to go in and edit any of the keywords or to look at the analytics.
I gotcha. Okay.
So we were all given access to that because we're a team.
Okay. I got it.
But we do need to have some discussion on, you know, a better name for it
Yeah.
so that people
Right
will
now.
search for that. And I guess it's also, I don't know what was done or has been thought about to send an introduction to that channel to our database, you know, relative database, either Mission Year Ranch or YOAM. I don't know that that's ever been done, but it might be a good idea for us to talk about that. We can get with James Travis and say, James, we would like to share this with others. And Steffen, you've talked about that in other groups. We could send it to Donna. We could send it to, you know, other Urantia folks and say, this is what we've been doing. We want to share this with you just so that you know that it's there. Please pass it on or post it or whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Might be a good idea.
yeah, I think as a teaser, as a promoter for us, it would be a nice idea to have this kind of history of the teaching mission, the C tags, all those, you know, in a short way, how it took place. And because we have to announce that the celestial are here and they want us to solve the problem of this planet. It could be short because I have seen the video made by Juan on some subjects. They are very short and very well. And when Machiventa said today, how do you awaken many people? And this is a way we can do that, because when I look at the other group called Divine Love Sanctuary in Canada, they start very small, but today I can tell you they have a big audience around the world, all around the world. After even Alphaik said, Celestial told him, one day you will be surprised how many people are following you. And he said, well, we will see. 10 years later, he's amazed because there is, you know, just the link are forwarded by people to people, and the group is growing now. And I think it's the same for us. When we are really good material to share, then the ball will be rolling. Because I'm sure all those people from Urantia who are a little bit reluctant to teaching mission, they are a little bit ready to, they're waiting something anyway.
Yeah, 1 second, Martha. I saw your hand. The other thing that we are probably ready to do is each channel usually has an introductory video, and we could create an introductory video that lets everybody know who we are and what we're doing and what this channel is about. And we can each contribute to it. I'm here because, you know, and put that together. It should be no more than 2 to 3 minutes. It should be very brief. And it can be set up so that anytime somebody lands at the channel, that's the first thing that they see. Martha, you had a comment?
Thank you. I think that's an excellent idea. I'm 100% behind it. I think in this very meeting, we have to agree to change the name. The name is Mission Urantia Outreach. We are no longer part of Mission Urantia, and it does not reflect who we are and what we're doing. So I was just thinking, I don't know how you feel about that, Juan. Would it make a difference if we changed the name now?
Well, what are some ideas that people have? I mean, what is it?
The name of the channel is Urantia Outreach Mission.
Oh.
Not Mission.
Okay.
Urantia Outreach. Ay, está traduciendo muy mal.
No, está bien, perfecto.
Okay,
gracias.
But
Gracias.
considering what it is that we're trying to do, I mean, it's also about creating a future. It's creating a future for our planet. I mean, many of the messages are about you know, where we are and where we're going and how do we get there. Bob, I see your hand is raised. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
I was thinking something more generic that more people would get on board with, like social encounters or something like that.
Or ask Machiventa.
Yeah, we
No.
have that Machiventa, but I mean, social encounters to me sounds more
Practical celestial encounters.
Celestial encounters makes more sense. Celestial mortal encounters or mortal celestial encounters.
Modern day celestial moments. I don't know, something that keeps it. Sometimes people will see celestial and they'll go, oh, but you know, but we also want to reach people who are quote unquote somewhat practically minded, right? Because our planetary manager is very practically minded. And some people, when they get into the spiritual side, they want to go off the deep end with celestial stuff and have no practical application. So something in the middle. Steffen, where's your brain going? I'm curious with some of these possibilities.
Looking at right now, I just checked Search GPT, which is their new engine. I checked DuckDuckGo and I checked Google. And when I put in Urantia Outreach Mission, it comes up #1 on all 3 of those.
What?
That's good.
Really? Wow, that's excellent.
And based on that, I don't think I'd change the name.
Oh,
Really.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you can check it yourself. Now I try not to get local results. I get on a VPN, so I move around. So
That's
the results I
interesting.
get are usually pretty clean.
And that's organic too, so that's pretty good.
If you are logged in, say, to your Google account, it's going to personalize the results to you. So you might get a different result.
okay.
But I'll share my screen real quick if you like.
Yeah, please do.
And
If
if
I
you
Can
say,
you? Can
Yeah.
he share?
You should have access.
Yeah, I think I can. Hang on.
and if you say celestial area to help you to change your world, that's the
Let me
reality, finally.
real quick and see, make sure I get the right one. Yeah, this one here.
What?
Juan's hand is up.
Yes.
Zoom is funny because it makes you pick a screen.
Bob, were you finished? Your hand is still up. Okay. Juan, your
There you
hand
go.
is up.
So when I look at search, it's an engine, OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. It's in beta mode, and I have access to it. But I checked up this description. This is all very good, and then the things from the web. So this is essentially a surgeon that is picking up the AI from ChatGPT and combining it with search. And you go over, you get one, and then
Steffen, I
go.
think you're breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, resource being
Right.
Okay, so in outreach mission, it's right there on.
Oh, it's even above
And-
the Urantia book.
Yeah, exactly. It's right on
But
top. I
aren't-
mean, it's very, very.
Interesting, but aren't we being untruthful when we are teaching mission people and not really? Interesting, yeah.
But we do have the word mission in there, so
I wouldn't change it. Nobody has, funny thing about titles, nobody has a copyright on titles.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Juan, you had a comment? Go ahead.
Sí, Marta, por favor, me traduces por si acaso.
Sí, señor. Steffen
Eh,
estaba diciendo.
No,
Tú
no,
vas a
yo voy a
hablar.
hablar.
No, tú vas a hablar. Perfecto.
¿Recuerdas una reunión que tuvimos del grupo de los viernes, en donde no sé, no recuerdo si fue Machiventa, que nos sugirió ese nombre, quisiéramos esa misión, que, que, que publicáramos los videos? O no sé si fue Daniel, pero sí, ese nombre fue sugerido.
Okay. Okay, he says if we can remember that there was a meeting that he thinks either Machiventa or Daniel themselves suggested the name. I didn't remember that. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
like
there
it.
we
I
go.
would change it.
Okay, perfect. Done. Thank you.
And
That's-
especially, one of the
I'm
things
sorry.
in search engine SEO, once you have something up there, when you change it, then the
You
the
lose.
search engines have to find you all over again. Now,
Right.
the title is
Oh.
not as bad as changing other elements of your web page, but generally speaking, once it's up there, you kind of want to keep with it.
Okay. Jacques, you had a comment? You're muted. You're muted.
No, my concern is the word Urantia. Urantia is quite strongly oriented with Urantia group and so on. And I think we are wider than Urantia itself, because Urantia puts you in a, when you search for Urantia command, sometimes you see it's becoming, there are criticism around Urantia as well on the internet. And I think we are more a link with the celestial, generally speaking. We are not Christian per se. We are all religion. We want to represent everybody. But because with the Mission Urantia, it was clear that they said to the human, announce that we are here. Announce the celestial presence, not really Urantia. For me, Urantia is a little bit narrow and lead to the Urantia book. And we want to go to the wide community, including Muslim, Chinese, everybody. In fact, we want to announce that God has a plan. Bam.
Mhm.
God has a plan and celestial in co-creation.
So that could also be remedied in an introductory video where we explain what Urantia is. It's just a celestial name for the earth. It's all encompassing to all humanity, regardless of your ethnicity or religion or whatever. So it could be a very much nuanced in that. And also in our, I'd have to go back and look, but whatever the description of the YouTube channel is, that can also be put in the description of the YouTube channel. So people are like, well, what is Urantia? What does that mean?
Yes.
And so, you know, it doesn't pigeonhole us. It could expand people. I think it's important for us not, you know, there's been lots of discussion about this, not to shy away from the word Urantia, but to make it more useful to people who don't know what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is my personal opinion, but Steffen,
No, I like
go ahead.
what you said.
Okay.
In the very first meeting that I spent with, and it was John Morris group, but some of you were there. I said the one thing that we can do to promote the well-being of Urantia, the name, the movement, the people, all of that, is to go online and to crowd out all of the negative information that's on there. I would start with Wikipedia. Wikipedia goes in there and they talk with some authority about Martin Gardner and all of his doubts that he casts on the Urantia book. And that's effective. People go into Wikipedia and that's where they look first. So that should be our primary target. We need to somehow get in there and get that out of there. Martin Gardner gave an opinion about the Urantia book, and that opinion seems to be somewhat set in stone. It's very interesting when you look at the Martin Gardner Wikipedia page, There's no mention whatsoever of the Urantia book, on his page, even though he wrote a book about the great cult mystery Urantia. Basically, he was an opportunist, and he published a book that was 100% conjecture that Kellogg had something to do with the revelation and so on and so forth, but it's being presented authoritatively. So the process for working with Wikipedia is that someone has to go in there and they have to become a Wikipedia contributor. They have to make friends with the people who are in control of that page. They have to kind of work their way in, but it's one of the most important vector points on the internet. And then there's some other stuff where, you've got Baptist ministers who are saying that it doesn't jibe with the Bible and therefore it's evil and so on and so forth. That stuff needs to be crowded out with content that speaks otherwise. And so if that's coming up, say, number 3 or 4 in Google, we need to push it down the page so it comes in number 40 or 50, or at least on the second page, because generally speaking, don't go past the first page search results. So one of the most effective things we can do is focus on the first page of the search results and make sure all content in there speaks well of Urantia so that it doesn't become a stopper. People have this incredible fear of making a mistake or being ridiculed. So they don't want to make a mistake of following some philosophy that they'll be ridiculed for. And if someone says it's bad, they go, okay, well, that's all I need to know. They'll go to Wikipedia, they'll read the first few paragraphs, and it sheds a ambiguous light on it, and that's all it takes. Just create some doubt in someone's mind, and they'll move on, because that's human nature. And I've been studying this for my entire life. What makes people do what they do? What makes them take the next step? And so forth. But if you can shed any kind of doubt on something, which you see our politicians doing all the time, people don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but I'm not going to take a chance. Perfect. That's all they're trying to accomplish. And it works. We have some of that going on when people go and search. Someone mentions Urantia, they go online, they look it up, they see Wikipedia, they go 2 or 3 more links down, and they see this crazy person who's a preacher at some Baptist church, and he's talking about how it doesn't jive with the book, and so therefore it's the devil, and so on and so forth. And you can tell they haven't even read the book. They've cherry-picked certain parts just to prove their point. Those are the things that we need to actually focus on. And then we can talk about Urantia. Now, the other thing I'd like to say is that when you have the Urantia Outreach channel, the YouTube channel, that's great. You can also have a teaching mission channel. You can cross-pollinate all of these. You can take a video that's on one channel, put it on another channel, just edit it slightly differently, and so on. No problem with that. So if people are responding to certain semantics, if you will, some people are seeking out the Urantia book like I was. Other people are seeking out spirituality, which is another common buzzword, keyword, if you will. And so basically, it's a matter of targeting which keywords, which category, whatever your target audience. If we want to target the audience that's looking for Urantia, that's one channel. If you want to target an audience that's spirituality without religion, that's another channel, and so on. And this is a systematic approach. It's not. It's work, but that's the direction I would recommend we take.
Could we not have 2 channels?
Hang on
that
a
are-
second, B. Hang on a second, B. I saw your hand and I want to acknowledge you. I want to first acknowledge the time. It's 12:18. I have to be
Okay.
gone in 12 minutes. We have to make sure that the recording is secured and the transcript is secured. And then I also need to know if you guys, we sent a document from Tuesday for you to review to see, because we've taken on, now we're taking up, Machiventa's given us yet another thing to do in addition to what we've been working on before. And, you know, we keep adding to our task list and we're not making a whole lot of progress. And so I want to bring your attention to the Tuesday list. It has a lot of things for you to look at and see, you know, where we are on that, and send me feedback so that we can make some progress on things that we've already started, because this is yet another thing, but I think it's very important. B, if you'll make your comment really short, and then we're going to have a closing, and then I have to leave, but I'm willing to leave this on for someone else to host, and you guys can continue the conversation as long as you'd like. Go ahead, B.
All I was going to say is, speaking to Bob's point there, was, can we just not have, can we have like 2 pretty much identical YouTube channels just with different titles? Right? So there would be like one for, and it would just be exactly what we do, is just maybe under a different name that might be a little bit more you know, more widely palatable, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's
okay, so identical channels.
We can have 1, we can have 2, we can have 3. We just shift them around and put different titles on them. And pretty much when it comes to Google's good with, you know, here's the thing, Google doesn't like duplicate content. And so they try to weed it out and so on and so forth. But if you put it into a channel and you give it different titles and different keywords, which I think is really smart, of course we can. So the teaching mission can have, see, there's so much overlap anyway in the teaching mission, correcting time, planetary management, and so on and so forth. There's no reason why we can't do that.
The challenge becomes monitoring those, republishing to multiple channels. It can, you know, you can do that to some degree with things like Buffer, but Buffer doesn't like 2 of the same kinds of social media outlets. So it just is adding work. And so I'm saying, if you suggest it, maybe you want to get involved in helping me.
It's
because
not
it's asking. It's not.
Yeah, what Kona is saying, it's not a small task. It's easy for me to suggest, and it is the right suggestions, but it's not a small task. A lot of people need to be involved. And I can oversee something like that. I cannot do it all. I can teach people how to do it. I can evaluate someone's work. They say, like, I'll look at Juan's channel as it is right now, and I can evaluate that. I don't want to do the work. I've got a big job already with rewriting Daniel's stuff as far as the book goes and all that. He talked about it in the meeting. So
very exciting.
I have a lot of stuff on my plate right now, but I can absolutely give you really good feedback on these kinds of things. And I can't emphasize enough, if we want to get Urantia out there, we need to fix the search results, because that's what people are looking first.
I'll look at that personally, because that's kind of what I'm more of an academic writer, factual writer. I'm happy to do that and review.
Here's an easy assignment for everyone right now. Go to Google. That's where everyone goes. And type in the word Urantia. That's all. And then look for the negative results and copy that link. And then we'll talk about, how do we target that? How do we get these people to take that off? Or how do we counter that? Or maybe we go to the page, which I've done this a couple of times under several different aliases, but maybe we go to the page and we answer the comments at the bottom. Someone says, oh, this is terrible. It's the devil's work. It doesn't work with the Bible. It says Jesus didn't die for your sins, kind of a thing. Well, we go to the spiritual guide at ChatGPT. We get a great answer. And then we put that in there to counter what the negative things people are saying. So, but the first part of the job is go find the negative results on the first 2 pages of Google.
Right.
And we'll target those.
That's
all right. Martha, you had your hand up. It's 12:22. Go ahead.
It's just a very quick one. Can't we have a tagline below Urantia Outreach Mission, something like correcting time, mortal celestial collaboration, or something? Isn't it possible, rather than having 3 or 4 channels, can't we just have a tagline that somehow puts all those things together and make it part of the title?
Yeah, absolutely, we can, Martha, but we take into consideration that people are searching with different keywords. Some
Yeah.
people are searching for humanity. Some people are searching for spirituality without religion.
True.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
That's why those keywords are so important for
Yeah.
each of the videos.
correct.
Extremely,
Yeah.
and for the whole site in general.
Absolutely.
If I would like to take just a few minutes to have our closing, again, I said I can make somebody else host in order to make sure that you guys continue this conversation, but I have to leave quite on time for my class. I was late last time.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Seni, you've been very quiet. I'm going to request you close us out in prayer because I love to hear your voice too. Do you mind? You're
Yes.
muted.
Yeah, my
Thank you so
pleasure.
much.
Spirit, we thank you for your being present with us. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your protection, and we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for the spirit of harmony and the spirit of peace you have bestowed in each and every one of us who are here. Thank you for calling us. Thank you for the mission that you have entrusted to all of us. We ask you to continue to bless us, to guide us, and bless each and everyone whom we'll be meeting today and will come across wherever we may be. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
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 Thank you. All right. Who has the time to stay and be our final host?
I hope you will not lost the recording.
I'm going to save the recording before I go, but
yes,
you can
please.
start a secondary recording.
Yeah.
Real quick too, Tuesday has been an issue. Jacques only has, if we start at noon, he has to leave after an hour. Martha, what is your current schedule for Tuesdays? Can you come an hour earlier?
At 5, absolutely. Yeah. From
Okay.
5 to 7. Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
so if we move Tuesday to an hour early, does that work for everybody? Seni, I know you're already
Yeah.
up in the middle of the night.
That's fine with me. That's fine.
Fine.
Kona.
Okay, so I'm going to
Yeah.
reschedule Tuesday for 11 o'clock. So since everyone can be there, that
Yeah.
gives Jacques,
Yeah.
peace with his wife and more time with us.
Yeah.
We want peace with your wife. Yes.
I have
Absolutely.
partly win the party. Partly. It's a long
All
process.
right. Continue on, and I'll just leave when I need to, but I'll save the recording before I leave.
We can even not record the last. what
The
we are
last part.
discussing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
we
leave
can
the AI on. Okay, very
Yes.
good. So I'll stop the recording.
Shut